Sunday's French presidential election is good news for Vladimir Putin and a wake-up call for leaders who don't get what it takes to get an economy to grow. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. The fact that incumbent Emmanuel Macron did so poorly in the first round of France's presidential election should ring alarm bells in every nation that is a democracy. Macron now faces a runoff in 2 weeks against Marine Le Pen, who is fascist in all but name. She loves Putin, hates NATO, and wants an even bigger role for the French government in directing the economy, a statist approach that would have won applause from fascism's founder, Benito Mussolini. While Macron is favored to ultimately prevail, polls show the race is tight. Le Pen has tapped into deep French frustration over a poor economy, high inflation, and resentment over France's enormous immigrant population, which is primarily Muslim. France has done a poor job of integrating them, in contrast to the way the U.S. has traditionally done with newcomers. Le Pen played down some fringe statements of the past and promises to slash the high taxes on fuel and other essentials. Macron came into office 5 years ago promising an entrepreneurial revitalization of a sclerotic economy. He's had little success, and it doesn't take a Sherlock Holmes to see why. The French government is a suffocating presence. Government spending as a proportion of the economy is 50% higher than the U.S.'s. Taxes are growth killers. The national sales tax is 20%, about 3 times what a typical state imposes here. The maximum income tax rate is almost 50% versus Uncle Sam's 37%. The corporate tax is 25% versus the U.S. 21%. The capital gains levy is 30% compared to our federal government rate of 24%. The worst are the various Social Security exactions. In the U.S., the total is 15.3%, split between employer and employee. These taxes in France max out at the super nosebleed level of 68% of compensation. A person making, say, $60,000 would trigger a total payroll tax of almost $40,000, as against around $9,000 in the U.S. French regulations, needless to say, are vast and suffocating. No wonder the economy in the past generation has sputtered along, averaging little more than 1% before the COVID lockdowns, and that France boxes way below its weight when it comes to high tech. Such a poor economic performance with a smothering array of taxes fuels fringe politics. Hence Le Pen's disturbing rise as possibly the next president of France. Her victory had helped Putin realize his ambition to wreck NATO and give Russia an enormous and ominous power in much of Europe. Freedom would suffer a frightening setback. It's also why President Biden should abandon his lead from behind approach and urgently get Ukraine the weapons it needs to stave off coming major attacks from the Russian occupiers and enable Ukrainian forces to push out the invading hordes. I'm Steve Forbes. This is What's Ahead. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions, and I look forward to being with you soon again.